Thank you for your patience, and then I'll come to Ishkaran Bhandari. I will not interrupt you, Mazhar Shariff. Your point, please. The court has made a very strong observation. Does this clear the decks for the ASI report to be made public in the interest of both the Muslim side and the Hindu side? Because scientifically it will be determined what the actual religious character of that place is.
Hi Anand. See, first of all, let me come in this way. The Place of Worship Act was made it in 1947. Then laterly it was altered in 1991. So now when there is an act, so why the act was provided by the parliament? There was a need, because when the partition happened, at that point of the time, everybody knew there are Hindus, there are Muslims, there are religious places across both the side. So not to disturb the communal harmony, so this act was brought in. Now today if you're standing and you're proudly saying that it was scientifically it has to prove, there are a lot of things, you dig it anywhere, you get any stone there today. Not only Gyanvapi, any part of the world, any part of the India today, because India has a 5,000 year history. There was a lot of idols. So tomorrow you come to my home and you will say that you have some idol here and we have to construct a temple here. So should I leave my place?
Yes.
See, keep it very simple. Let us keep it simple. Let us keep it simple. The act of the Worship Act was there. Place of Worship Act is there. Why it was been made? Why it was been made? Just because not to have this kind of a situations. Now the situation where the High Court should have not been allowed this. First of all, we reject this. Means I wholly reject this, because see, once we have got a pain, where on the sentimental basis, what happened in Ayodhya? Ayodhya, you didn't got anything. Survey was done there also. Even the judgment is there. In judgment, is there anything scientifically has been proved? Then if you are scientifically, if you want to prove Gyanvapi, then go back to Ayodhya also. And try and get that scientific research on there also.
But Mazhar
get
Shariff,
ISS certificate there also.
Yes, Mazhar
Then
Shariff,
you have to justify. If you are talking about justice, that two places should not be there. Two places of worship, it is not be there. It has happened hundreds of years back. So nothing. Now the country is, that time what ruler were there, what he did, I don't want to get into the history now. So the basic thing is, today the country is a secular country. Our constitution is talk about secularism. And this place is a masjid today, and it has been there from hundreds of years. It is not just, it has been built after 47 or after 91. So it has to be, it has to be why the parliament has passed this, why the present government was sitting idle from last 9 years. They should have been brought in, they should have brought something parliamentary. No, now somebody has put a case, somebody is putting in, you guys are saying proudly now that somebody has fighted for 40 years just because, and somebody is saying that, we are washing our dirty feet. What does that mean now?
No, okay.
You think that our feet are dirty?
Mazhar, let me ask you. No, it's not communalizing.
Please.
No, my simple, one minute, Anandji. Ishkaran also wants to respond, so let him also respond. My simple question to you, sir, is, Wuzu means that you have to clean your hand and feet, and you have to do an act of cleansing.
It's not dirty.
No,
it's not dirty.
One minute.
It's not about
Before you go in to do your prayer. But if people are doing their act of cleansing themselves, that is washing their hand and feet, whether dirty or not, at a place where historically there is a shivling there kept, which is the seat or which is a matter of astha for millions of their own brethren of their own country, brothers and sisters of their own country. What kind of a mind? One minute. No, 1 minute. 1 minute, Mazharji. I am asking you, what does that reflect in the thought process, mindset and attitude of those people who believe that there may be a shivling there, it may be a matter of astha for our own Hindu brothers and sisters of our own country, but we don't care because we will continue to wash our hand and feet there. What kind of a mindset does that represent or reflect, sir? Is that a secular, inclusive mindset, or is that a thought continuum of the very same Aurangzeb who destroyed that temple and built a masjid there? I leave you to chew on that question for a bit. Let Ishkaran Bhandari respond. Ishkaran Bhandari, you wanted to respond to Mazhar some other points. Yeah.
Anand, it was painful and required an act of discipline to keep quiet while so many erroneous statements were being made, either because of ignorance of law or because of deliberate attempt to do so. I didn't interrupt, but please don't interrupt me now when I start exposing one by one the statements which were absolutely false which were made. Firstly, on principle, if you dig all over India and you will find more murtis, then it is a perfect case why 500 or 700 more cases need to be found, because every mandir destroyed needs to be restored. Once a mandir, always a mandir. The volume or the number of cases will not determine that a perpetrator of violence can succeed on his violence, can erase or try to erase a civilization by saying you cannot dig 50 or 500 places. Each and every instance of injustice has to be corrected. That is the law in any democracy. That is the law in any civilization, period. Now let me come to the facts. Very conveniently, it's been said that Places of Worship Act was made for a purpose to stop this, basically to stop Hindus from going to court and claiming their right, even if they have evidence, even if they have documents. So firstly, if while Congress was in power, you were such poor draftsmen that you could, with all your intent to prevent Hindus from going to court, draft a shoddy piece of legislation which the High Court says did not cover this situation, then do not believe the lawyer. And all respects to Mr. Jain, he's doing a tremendous job. Everybody owes him a debt of gratitude, who went to the court and the Allahabad High Court ruled that it does not cover it. Accept it. The second aspect, why is this happening in Uttar Pradesh? Bhaiya, it is not an order by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, it's a court order. So whether it is Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh is absolutely irrelevant. How does the government come into this? But as I said, so many errors, I can't keep counting them. The third aspect of it is that every mandir, once you are going to the court and you are fighting that an ASI survey not come out, the court has categorically ruled, not only in that case, but in any other case it's required, a further ASI survey can be ordered. And by today's order of High Court, implicitly and explicitly, it's clear that the ASI report has to be public, because it has to be used in other cases also, like any scientific report has to be used. And lastly, let me just say this, stop all these stalling tactics, because the court has also stalled it. I was in the Ram Mandir case when an attempt was made that the case not be heard till 2019. The reason was this, because if the government changes, then a government comes and says Bhagwan Ram was a myth. There is no historical proof. We have had those affidavits filed. So probably that is the reason they keep trying to stall, and they're still trying to stall it till 2024. But the court has been categorical. 25 years the stay order lasted. Now decide this in 6 months. They should come to terms with it and stop trying to create needless arguments or erroneous arguments.
Ji. Harishankar Jain ji, coming to you, sir, in just a bit. But Anand Ranganathan has been raising his hand. So yes, Anand, a minute to you.
No, I've been raising it, and I thank Ishkaran, because like Ishkaran, it really required me being a believer in ahimsa, not to interrupt my good friend Mazhar Shariff. I hope he doesn't mind my saying so. He's been very genial at putting across his points that I vehemently disagree with on 3 or 4 things. Number one, please stop thinking this as a Hindu-Muslim issue. I know what Naipaul said, please go and read. And this is the problem with conversions. You forget fighting for the justice of your ancestors. So Mr. Mazhar doesn't think of this as a civilizational cause at all. For him, civilization is something more eastward. Nonetheless, having said this, the issue is, if a mosque had been demolished by a Hindu king and he had built a temple over it, does Mr. Mazhar Sharif not feel that Muslims had a legitimate right to approach the court